what are the places that are getting it right so far? With the caveat that super early, these are long-term processes that take a long time to fully reveal themselves, but who's on the right path?
Well, I look at Erie, Pennsylvania as like the poster child for this because they were an early adapter of the investment prospectus. Initially, we chose with Accelerator for America and Mayor Garcetti. And Mayor Garcetti, Rick Jacobs, and Accelerator deserve an enormous amount of credit because they embraced the new localism before the book was even out. They saw the need for an intermediary that could capture, codify, spread innovation quickly. So they're the ones who got Jeremy and I going to do this investment prospectus. We chose 3 cities initially, South Bend, Louisville, and Oklahoma City. And then Stockton and Erie raised their hands and say, hey, we want in. So what's different about Erie is that prior to Opportunity Zones, Erie was beginning to come together around their universities and their companies and philanthropies and the government around a big shock-the-market move in the downtown of Erie. It's a gorgeous downtown. If you've ever been there, you've got the lake, you got the bay, you've got State Street, and you've got this post-Civil War downtown, which urbanists would die for, walkable, livable, bikeable, whatever else people talk about these days. What happened is they created this Downtown Development Corporation with patient capital from individuals, Erie Insurance, philanthropies, and others. And so they were ready for Opportunity Zones. They picked well. They picked 8 zones all around the greater downtown. Because they were using patient money that wasn't expecting any return to acquire strategic properties, Opportunity Zones then provided the market equity so those properties could be renovated and ultimately populated with small business and residential. So Erie has organized itself across sectors. They're on the same page. You talk to one person in Erie, you talk to another from different sectors, they'll pretty much say the same thing, which is a sign of success, not Stepford Wives, right? So obviously a lot of other places, Birmingham, Kansas City, Dayton, Louisville, Oklahoma City, there's others, but Erie is just this like full in, all sectors. This is our time. This is our moment.
It's also I think from a 30,000 foot perspective, the least likely of the ones you just mentioned. But I think people are always surprised when I say Erie's actually the leader of the pack nationally in this effort, because it's just so counter to the archetypal post-industrial, legacy city mentality that people have about that part of the country or those types of communities. And you're right. I mean, we were in Erie a couple of weeks ago for an event that they did. And exactly as you said, it didn't matter who you spoke with. Church leaders, community foundation head, Fortune 500 company, Downtown Development Corp, everyone was on the same page. And apparently, because I wasn't spending time in Erie 10 years ago, apparently that's a big change from where they had been. And so what I love so much about that is that as a policy, people expect too much heavy lifting out of federal policy just in general. A policy like Opportunity Zones at its best is a tool and an organizing principle. But if you don't match that with a local effort like what you're talking about, you're going to get very limited utility out of it. And Erie is showing how from that bottom up, better organizing and collaborating can lead to, when it's paired with the kind of tool that the federal government's providing here, can really lead to quicker results and more transformative results than most people would have anticipated.
Well, markets are created because of trust and confidence. We all focus on capital, whether it's capital raining down like manna from heaven from the federal government, or whether it's capital coming from local investors. From an outset, when I first went to Erie, maybe like 2013, 2014, I was struck by a very small, compact, beautiful downtown. And if you've ever been to Lake Erie, it's gorgeous. I mean, the quality of life there, it's like a big secret. No one wants anyone else to know. But around the downtown, which is relatively small and compact, is UPMC Harnett, a massive health complex, Gannon University, and Erie Insurance. So in a way, Erie is a proxy for many American cities, particularly small and medium-sized cities, is we tended to juxtapose and concentrate and co-locate a lot of these anchor institutions right either in or by the downtown. Voila. I mean, this is a platform for growth and development.
And yet, over decades, depopulation, job loss, business closure, massive vacancy in that beautiful downtown, hyper vacancy in huge swaths. And so, again, for the reason that you see this motif playing out in so many different places, if it can work in a place like Erie, you can apply that model in dozens of places who have those same core ingredients, but also the same kind of directional challenges that Erie's faced.
The ingredients, this juxtaposition of assets in concentrated areas is ubiquitous in the United States. It's very different in Europe, frankly, where a lot of their universities were put out in the suburbs. So we have them right smack, particularly the private universities, right smack in the downtowns or right by the downtowns. And the really differentiated issue here is leadership. And multi-sector network leadership, formal or informal. When we wrote The New Localism, the poster child in that book was Indianapolis, which in 1970, Kurt Vonnegut, who had grown up in Indianapolis, said, this is a city where you played miniature golf for 364 days, and on the last day you went to the Speedway. There was literally nothing going on in Indianapolis, and they started a 40-year effort, multi-sector, universities and Lilly and companies and the government, to restore the core and give a sense of place and community and potential.
And now it's one of the true outliers in that region.
Oh, my Lord. Incredible place.